everyone, welcome back to my channel, The Veldman Way. Ashley here. Today I'm going to do another cooking video with you guys, and today I'm going to make what's called Company Casserole. Now I came across this recipe back when I used to work at a bank, and we had a big potluck one day, and one of the guys that I worked with, his wife made this casserole and he brought it in for the potluck, and it was so good. I ate way too much of it and I just couldn't get enough of it. So I asked him if he could give me the recipe, and he did, but then I lost it, of course. So typical. So I ended up finding a recipe on Pinterest for it because I don't work there anymore, so I couldn't ask him, for the recipe anymore. So I ended up finding it on Pinterest, and it is very close. I don't know if it's the exact same recipe, but it is very close to that original that I had at that potluck, and it made me fall in love with this recipe. So I make it a lot in the winter, fall, so it's one of those really good, hearty, filling casserole dishes. I do really like to make casseroles. My husband is he's not a huge casserole fan, but since this is just one of my favorite meals, I sneak it in the rotation every once in a while. But what I love about it is that it makes a ton of food, and since we're a small family, we can easily have leftovers the next day, which I try to make. Anytime I make anything on a Sunday, I try to make leftovers so I can have it on Monday and not have to cook, because who wants to cook on a Monday? Not me. So let's get started, and I hope that you enjoy this recipe as much as I do, and I will make sure that I put the recipe down in the description for you. Just let me know if you try it. So for this recipe, what you're going to need is some sour cream, a green pepper, some green onion, some small curd cottage cheese, a can of tomato sauce, ground beef, some butter, cream cheese, and some egg noodles. Now I've made it with whatever size. I'm going to make it with the dumplings. I've made it with the broad. I don't think it really necessarily matters what size you get. It just depends on whatever I can find at the store. So today I'm going to make it with the dumplings. I do like that really thick egg noodle. So those are the ingredients. Not too many. It's nice and easy. We're going to start off by preheating the oven to 375 while we start getting the casserole together. I got my big pot of water boiling for the noodles, and I'm putting my cream cheese next to it. From the heat from the boiling water and from the oven preheating will hopefully make it nice and soft so it's easy to stir into the mixture. And now I'm getting my ground beef browned and broken up into small pieces. Now it's time to get the noodles going. You use about 8 ounces of egg noodles. While the egg noodles and ground beef are finishing up cooking, I'm going to get the cheese mixture together. So you're going to start off by chopping up a green pepper. Now the original recipe that I found on Pinterest only called for about 2 tablespoons of green pepper, and to me it wasn't enough. I could barely taste it. So the next time I made it, I added about a 1/4 cup. I add a lot more than the recipe says, and to me it was the perfect amount. You of course can adjust how much green pepper you put in depending on, well, how much you like green pepper. Next up, you're going to add the green onion. I add about 1/2 cup of green onion to the recipe. You're going to want to make sure you cut it up nice and small. Next, you're going to put in the cream cheese. Now, I realized that I forgot to hit record when I put that in, but don't worry, you didn't miss much. I think you know how to put cream cheese in a bowl. You're going to add the whole block of cream cheese and 1 cup of the small curd cottage cheese. And then you're also going to add a 1/4 cup of sour cream. Now that our ground beef is nice and browned, you're going to turn the heat off and you're going to add your can of tomato sauce and give that a nice stir. Now comes the fun part, getting the casserole all together. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to grease the bottom of your baking dish. Now I use Pam, but you can use butter if you prefer. Then you're going to take half of your noodles and spread that evenly along the bottom of the pan, and then take half of your cheese mixture and place that evenly on top of the noodles. It is a little bit difficult sometimes to get it even because it sticks to the noodles, but do the best that you can and make sure you get the corners. It's really important to make sure you get those so that way every bite has all of the ingredients. Then once you get that spread, you're going to add half of the meat mixture. Again, making sure that you're doing that as even as possible and make sure you get those corners. I have to apologize real quick because as I was recording the last couple steps of this recipe, my SD card became full, therefore it cut off filming, and I did not realize it until after I had put the casserole in the oven. So I'm going to run through those steps real quick here, but it's not going to necessarily match up to what I'm doing, so I do apologize for that. Once you get the first layer of meat down, you're going to repeat the steps of adding the remaining noodles, then the remaining cheese mixture, and then the remaining meat on top. Then you are going to melt butter and you are going to pour that evenly over the top. I cook this at 45 minutes covered. The recipe says an hour, but I did that the first time and it was a little too overcooked. The noodles were super crunchy and I don't really like too crunchy of noodles. So I found that baking it covered for 45 minutes and then taking it out, checking it, taking the cover off and then popping it in for an additional 5 minutes worked out great. So that's how I like to cook it. So as you can see, I'm taking it out here and it looks perfect. It's got a little bit of crusty noodles on the top, but not too bad, but the center is soft, gooey goodness. I do hope that you consider trying this recipe. It is very easy to put together, not too many complicated ingredients, and it is just so good. One of my favorite fall and wintertime casseroles to make. I am going to be posting weekly cooking videos on Fridays, and it's going to be a mix between brand new recipes that I'm going to try for the first time, as well as some of my old favorites. Now, I would say that my cooking level is maybe intermediate at best. I like to cook quick, easy, not so complicated recipes, but that are also delicious. So if you're like me and that's the kind of recipes you're looking for, then you've come to the right place. I do hope that you will consider subscribing to my channel so you can follow along with me on my journey of expanding my cooking skills and adding additional recipes to my normal rotation. And remember to like and subscribe, and I want to thank you again for watching, and I hope that you all have a great day, and I will see you at the next one.